You're a good girl. You're a good dog. No one's ever loved you. Oh. Trade Secrets for Homeowners, episode, I don't know. We're remodeling a bathroom today. That's right. Rule number 1. Trade secret number 1 of remodeling bathrooms is gut the whole thing. We're going to take this entire thing all the way down to the studs and back out again. And of course, here's my pal Mike, there to help as usual. Say hi, Mike.
What's up?
So stay tuned, we're going to show you how it's done. So in the same house that we're doing this bathroom in is the legendary Tom's Basement that I built a couple years back. So here's a finished sample of my personal handiwork, coffered ceiling that we did. And you've seen the pictures of the rough cut bar top. Yeah, that's a cherry log, and we built this entire thing from scratch. And I did all this laminate work. That's right. Step 1, shut off the water main. Disconnect all your plumbing. See these old shut-off valves? Junk. We're going to replace these. And we're going to transfer this copper to PEX tubing, so it's a good chance for me to show you how to solder. Okay, so I've cut my pipe off with my pipe cutter. And this is a solder fitting that goes to PEX tubing. And step 1 is clean your fittings up really clean. So I use sandpaper on this end. And I'm going to use the old plumber's wire brush on my fitting. So that is a copper to PEX tubing solder fitting. And I've cleaned my fitting up, and I've applied a healthy dose of flux paste. See that? And then we're going to solder it up. There's like pretty much no way I can hold the phone and do this at the same time. But I will tell you, when you put the heat to it, you wait till the flame turns green and then touch it with your solder. But like I said, I can't do it with one hand, so hold on. And there you go, all soldered up. Now look, you can go on YouTube and find 10,000 videos on how to do this, but I always shut off my water main. I take care of all my plumbing before I start my demo. That way if I have any problems, I've got all day to fix it. You can't go home till the plumbing's turned back on. See how this is spinning around? That's not good. So I cut the floor open. Let's have a look. Apparently downstairs in the basement, before the ceiling was done, it was replaced with PEX tubing. But you want to cut things open and make sure that you know why things are spinning around. So we're going to change this fitting out, and we're going to switch this over to PEX tubing like so. So the first thing you want to do is take some steel wool and clean off your threads. Then you're going to wrap it in Teflon tape. Then you're going to pipe dope it. Then you're going to put it all together. Mike, I was saving that.
Huh?
I was saving that, man.
Yeah, I got some glue.
Alright, I got all my fittings installed. I've got all my pipes strapped down. There's the sink. There's the toilet. Now we're going to do some PEX tubing. This is PEX tubing. See this? And what you do is slide your clamper on the end. You're going to stick it on the pipe. There's 2 different kinds. This is a pinch clamp, and there's the Apollo clamp. I doubt I can do this with one hand, so hold on a second. The Apollo clamp has a giant pair of bolt cutter style crimpers. So I got it on there. This is a ratcheting crimper. Mike, hold this, will ya? And it's very simple. We're going to squeeze this bad boy around until it unlocks. Then we're going to put a cap in the end of the pipe because we do not want to put our shut-off valve on that. We're going to drywall this. So what we're going to do is put the cap on there. Then later on, after the drywall's all done, we'll shut the water off again, and then we will install our shut-off valves. The reason why is because we do not want to have to mud around the holes. This way, I can just slide my finish ring right over against the drywall, and we're done.
Alright.
Okay, don't be this electrician with extra 50 foot left on the outlet. Look at this, you guys, idiots. Okay, a bathroom gets done in stages. The first thing you want to do after you do your demo work is put down your cement board. And again, here we are again, more grinderage. This time I've got a coarse wheel on here. It's what I'm using to cut my cement board with. And we're going to glue it and staple it. So pay attention. Okay, so we've taken this bathroom right down to the studs. The first thing we're doing is the floor. We're cutting all of our pieces and dry fitting them first. Then we're going to lift up each individual sheet, glue it, and staple it down. Ceramic tile wall adhesive, VTech, which is, I don't know, a lot of guys would say, I'm doing it wrong. Other guys would say, I do that all the time. It's all a matter of preference. What matters is you get a lot of glue under your sheet so that it adheres. I mean, you can see my subfloor is not very nice, so we're making our own subfloor. Right, Mike?
That's right.
So stay tuned, and once I get the sheet on, I'll run the stapler and show you how many staples you should be putting into it.
And
There they are. Okay, you ready?
oh, you're already rolling.
Oh. We'll stop it. You gotta stop it. Alright, so now we're going to staple it down. These sheets, you can buy screws, hardbacker screws that come with it. You're supposed to screw it on these X's. But I don't find that to be sufficient enough. If I'm going to put down a ceramic tile floor, it's going to take an army of 20 men to tear it up. So we're going to staple the poop out of it. And cut it back. What? Thanks, Brock. Okay, so when you're installing your bathtub, you want some plumber's putty. Make yourself a noodle to go around this edge here, the flange of the top of your drain pop lock. And that's how you're going to seal it up. What are we doing? We're whipping up mortar. Why? Because you pour it on the floor and set your bathtub in a mortar bed. That holds it level, and also it keeps it from going dunk 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 when you're stepping in it. Yep, see, you've got a mortar bed, and we're going to set our tub right in. It's going to hold it level and keep it from going badonk badonk badonk. Right, Mike?
That's correct.
Trashed. We got our tub installed, and I'm working on the shower valve. And your trade secret for today is this is the tub spout. It's the only piece of copper that I ever use. And the reason I use it is because it holds the tub spout firmly in place, whereas PEX tubing will not. Now, I soldered the fitting on out in the van before I installed it on the valve, because you do not want to put heat on the valve. You'll melt the rubber gaskets on the inside, therefore ruining the valve. And another thing about these new valves is the government. Once again, you see that little gray thing in there? That's your temperature adjust valve, because they think that you're too stupid to take a shower without burning yourself. So make sure that you adjust and dial that in. Whereas I, in my own home, totally removed it, because, you know, I don't like the government. Okay, your bathtub trade secret. First of all, I've got the valve wrapped up in a moist rag to keep it cool. I just did that fitting out in the van, screwed it on, and I've cut my parts and built them, and here's your secret. Once you put heat to that elbow, this fitting's going to want to fall off. Right there. So, you cut a little piece of wood, and you jib-jab it under there, and that's your helper. So we got our shower surrounding, and we pressure tested the system to make sure there weren't any leaks. We took this panel off like 4 times to get that handle to sit just right. Putting together a shower handle is a nightmare. That's not even done. I've got all kinds of work to do to it still. So, what I'm going to show you right now is there's a vent. The vent's gone. We covered it up. So we're going to roto-zip it out. let's make sure you guys are up to speed. Well, so we gutted it down. We took her all the way down to the studs. We did some framing, put in our drywall nailers like I showed you in the video Red Eye. If you go and look at that video, you'll see. And we hung our board, which was in the first Trade Secrets for Homeowners video. And the taping and the finishing is all done. Well, not done. I got to do probably 2 more coats. But what we learned is when you're doing a bathroom, you always take it down to the studs. If you try to just put in a tub surround, when it gets next to all the other old stuff, it's going to make it look even worse. It's such a confined space. You're just better off taking it all out and redoing everything. So we learned a little bit about PEX tubing, about plumbing. That's readily available. Tricks like, little wood blocks to hold up your drain spout. You could probably figure that out too. But my trade secret for you, majorly, on a bathroom remodel is always take it down to the studs. All right. You know your town sucks when you have to remind everybody it's okay to live here. Pathetic. So we've got our drywall hung and sanded, and I did the Kills primer coat yesterday. Now I am painting. So things about painting I'm going to share with you. I mean, pretty much anybody can paint, right? So if you're painting dark colors, my advice to you, and any painter will tell you, is you only want to cut in your paint like a couple feet. See how dark that color is? So you want to cut in like 3 or 4 feet, and then you want to roll it. Don't let your cut in dry, because then when you roll over it and it dries, the edges are going to be a different color, because you'll have the dry cut in with a layer of rolled over paint over the top of that, therefore making it 2 layers of paint. So, trade secrets when you live in a miserable place like Erie, PA, where there's always some kind of crap falling from the sky. So, to cut ceramic tile, most people would use a wet saw. Well, unfortunately, in Erie, it's only warm enough to use a wet saw like maybe 8 weeks out of the entire year. So the water in the pump freezes and the saw doesn't work. So once again, my friend, the grinder. But do we want it to get wet? No. So I'm just throwing it in a toolbox full of gas fittings. Boop. To keep it dry. See? Very simple. But, adapt and overcome is what you got to do when you live here. Ugh. Paint is done. Now we're on the tile. This type of tile here is a lot different than 12-inch or 6-inch or 8-inch square tile. Normally you would find the center of the room and you would work your way out. But here I have just made myself what's called a control line. This line means nothing other than it's a square measurement off of this wall, which is where I'm finishing. So I'm going to measure off that line as I come across to make sure I have an even rip along this wall. With this type of tile, as long as you do your math, you really don't have to find center because you have a 33% offset, which it says on the box. You can read it. And so that's basically all I can tell you is don't waste time laying it out. Just start flush under your tub there and work your way back. And when you get to the doorway, I pulled the numbers, so I should have a 5.5-inch rip left over on the end. We'll see. So continuing our wet saw discussion, you can't do that on a wet saw most of the time. Most of the time you just cut a square, a lot of guys do that, but I go around and do the round out with my grinder, and that gives the toilet a nice solid base to sit on. Another thing with this type of tile, and you can look this up on the internet, I'm not here to tell you how to put tile down. There's bazillions of videos, how to, and basics, tile for dummies, blah blah blah. But with any tile, I always try to keep my grout joints as clean as I can, because later when you go to prep the floor for grout, you're going to have to take a grout saw and go in there and go and clean it all out. It's the next day, our tile is set, and now we're going to prep it for grout. Alright, I'm ready to start grouting, and I'm going to whip up my grout with some Mapai polymer additive. It's basically liquid latex mixed in with your grout, and that's going to create a waterproof bond in your grout joints. You can go 50-50, water and a little bit of polymer, or you can go all polymer. When I learned how to tile from the Tile Master, he usually always used latex, so that's the way I roll. Grout is a waiting game, that's for sure. Make sure that you grout at a 45-degree angle. You can look all this up on YouTube. But, you know, I really don't have a trade secret here. It's a pretty standard issue. Just make sure that when you whip up your grout, it's not too thin and it's not too thick. A good grout should be hard to get into your joints. But you want to wait long enough for it to set up in the grout joint, but not so long you got to scrub it off the tile. First sponge. So we're fixing to do our second sponge, and if you run your hand across these tiles, reclaimed wood, you can feel it's got like grooves in it almost. It's not totally smooth on top. So my trade secret for you is in the instructions of the grout, it'll tell you to wait up to 60 minutes until this sets up. If you do that, you're going to be miserable. You're going to have to scrape this all down. So when it starts to haze up and it gets misty like this looks right there, that's when you start sponging. You're not walking on my tile. It ain't gonna happen, Cassidy. No, doggo. You stay off the ceramic tile. No paw prints in the grout. Nope. Well, we got our tile in. We got our bathtub all hooked up. And this is where my weekend begins. So the bathroom door smoked, so we got us a new one. And we're gonna cut it down before we put it in. So here's a little trick of the trade. When you're trying to get an inside-to-inside miter, I just line my piece up on the end of the horse, the edge right there. So that way, when I hook on, it's all lined up. Come across, make my mark. It's like the easiest way. So voila! New door. Got her cased out, and we're going to do the base trim. Look, my advice again. You know, we're tickler all the way down, right? If you're going to remodel a house, you start on the roof and work your way down. Because I spent more time on plumbing on this than I have probably just about anything else. So, like, if you have plumbing issues, you don't want to finish your basement off, then move up to the second or first floor and have to cut the ceiling open, right? See, this is why carpenters become grumpy old men. Because of stuff like this. What is this? You know I gotta put a piece of trim across the front, so you're gonna mold in a little challenge. What am I gonna run that through the table saw and dado it out? Thanks, engineers. See, that's what I'm talking about. Ugh. There. See what I got going on there? There we go. There's sunlight out of the way. The reveal around the inside of the window is more important than what's going on the outside of the window. See, so you gotta shimmer out. Right? The casing's going to cover that side anyways. And see, I got my casing marked out ahead of time so I know where to measure. But if you look, you want to keep that reveal even around the window. That's what we're going for. Doop-a-doo-doo, and stuff like that there. Yeah. So now what? Well, the bathtub started leaking, so I had to go down in the basement, cut out the basement ceiling, and replumb everything into the bulkhead. And I just replumbed the whole damn tub anyways. That took about 10 hours. And then the bathroom door fell apart, and I went to fix that, and it looked like crap, so I had to switch out the door. Now I gotta go back to the shop and make extension jambs because it's a plaster wall, and the plaster wall is 3/4 of an inch on the top, 2/4 of an inch on the bottom. Are you sure you want to do it yourself? I mean, I don't think you do. So last night, with the help of some rum and cokes, I got my piece of 1/4 round mitered out in the back and glued on so it sits flat against the back of the tub. So that got over one engineering college educated obstacle. Got my transition strip installed that I dadoed out. Here is my extension jambs, and I have to go out, and it's raining cats and dogs, and set up in the van, set this up. My trade secret for you for right now is when you come to the fashion bath hardware and accessories, the Vietnamese and Indians usually don't include the mounting hardware. So make sure that you've got a mounting hardware kit at your disposal to go and put all this stuff up. 9 out of 10 times, you're not going to hit anything in the wall at all. And again, adapt and overcome. Luckily I have a giant van I can fit inside because as usual the skies have opened up and there's a giant rainstorm coming and blah blah blah. Why don't I have a job trailer? Let's review. poorest zip code in the entire continental United States. That's why, because you can steal a job trailer, you can open it like a can opener. I've actually been on the roof and have people push the ladder over and go and rob the job trailer while we're stuck on the roof and have to call 911 to come have the firemen put the ladder back up. I'm not even kidding. So here's my other issue. This is a 32-inch door, exactly like the one that was in the hole, but apparently the new ones are about 1.5 inches to 2 inches bigger. So now I gotta cut the base trim back to get the new piece of casing to go in, and this is the tool that you want to have. This has got a lot of different names. I call it the Rockwell, reciprocating, orbital, whatever you want to call it, but basically it's a fan cutter. This blade goes back and forth really fast and allows you to cut stupid stuff like this that a Sawzall won't let you do. So go get yourself one of these. See? Here you go. That's what I'm going to name this bathroom, the Jungle. My favorite, painting. I love painting. It's so rewarding and fulfilling. It's the best. You gotta have a plumbing access panel. Gotta have access to the plumbing. See that? That's on every single tub and surround that Lowe's or Home Depot sells. That is Chinese glue. My trade secret for removing it, WD-40. And voila. How much time did I have? Like 3 weeks. Let me tell you what. This bathroom is taking the #1 slot for the biggest pain in the ass bathroom remodel I've ever done. 3 weeks to do a bathroom remodel. But when you're done with it, it is turnkey. And of course, right down to the very last screw. Geez, see what I mean? Pain in the ass. Anyways, that is the bath remodel. Trade Secrets for Homeowners. Episode number 8. See you later. Bye. Say bye-bye. Remember, like, subscribe to the channel because it's free, and the more people that subscribe, I might actually, I don't know, get famous or something. I doubt it. But anyways, I'll see you guys next time.